Hi, it's Nick here from the Talk and Power podcast. We are proud to announce Auto One as our brand partner for the podcast. Auto One, it's the one. You can now order online with click and collect or get your order shipped. Head to www.auto1.com.au. Like us at the podcast, Auto One has a passion for cars and all things automotive. They understand your love of cars too. With great prices and the biggest brands you know and trust, they are sure to be able to help you with your project, whether it be replacing your wiper blades, fitting out your four-wheel drive with the latest gear, or rebuilding your dad's old HQ Holden. Not sure on how to install those spotlights? Don't panic. Just head to the website and click on the do-it-yourself videos and Rico will talk you through the process. From Auto One in Albany up to Auto One in Karratha, across to Auto One in Townsville, down to Auto One in Hobart, and over 50 stores in between. Auto One has a retail store nearby with expert advice and the stock on hand. Auto One is committed to bringing you the brands you know and trust at great prices. Coupled with the team's knowledge and experience, Auto One, it's the one.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Okay, episode 94 of the Talk and Power podcast, and we are transmitting on 88.5 FM where The Valley Comes Alive, and on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast from. I'd like to welcome our co-hosts, Todd Brinkworth, Simon Travellini, and I'm Nick DiCembri. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Nick, how you going?
Yeah, hey, Nick.
What were you going to join?
Good question. Thanks. Thanks for joining us. We're here. We're recording this podcast in our new studio. We've relocated. We're off Zoom, finally. And 7 months. You know, I worked it out the other day. To the day, almost exactly 7 months, Todd. Alistair McRae was the last person we interviewed.
Wow. There you go.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And if you look back at the records, we did that on the 14th of March, or thereabouts anyway. And here we are, the 14th of, 6 months. Where am I going?
Yeah, you had me, yeah, but still, it's been a while.
6 months.
You had me at new studio.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Nick, you've done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Acoustics need a little bit of tweaking.
Yeah, we do. We need to do a bit of work on the acoustics, so our apologies for all of our listeners. But yeah, we'll tune that out, the echo out eventually.
So we can officially say that we've got a better studio than the Wide World of Sports on Channel 9.
I think we can actually. I think we've got a better studio than a lot of the TV shows.
But you know what? They have got great station there in 96. Some great shows. Street Outlaws.
Yeah, they do.
Street Outlaws Memphis, which brings us to our first topic of discussion.
Yeah, it does. Hey, before we get into that, we just need to cover off our Auto One winner for this week, Brent Ricklicky. Thanks, Brett, for sharing that and commenting on our last post. He gets a $50 gift card from Auto One. I'd like to thank Auto One as well for helping us out there. Greatly appreciated. And head into your Auto One store and view the range of Auto One products there. But yeah, getting back to that, Street Outlaws, we spoke about it on our last podcast not that long ago in regards to what is deemed a street car. So we put that out to social media and we asked, and we prefaced the whole comment or the whole discussion with no right or wrong answers. So everyone was free to comment.
What I've read here, there seems to be one underlying factor. Not a single person that I can see has said anything about the car being street legal. I just want to point that out because I don't disagree with anything that anyone's written here, to be honest with you. When I built what I consider to be my street car, which is the XY, I did maintain factory suspension location, untubbed, all steel body other than the boot and bonnet and bumpers. And that was because they were the original modified street rules from the Australian Pro Street Association. those rules evolved later on. And now, really everyone's into this radial racing where there really isn't much of the original car involved. And I don't see that there's a connection between radial racing and street cars anyway. I think that's just a class like super stock or a competition eliminator or, it is an interesting point that absolutely no one has made that comment that the car should be street legal or should be able to go over some sort of roadworthy inspection.
Well, Craig and Jaron both came close to that. They kind of said registered. Craig wrote, Craig Moore, that is, registered and able to fill up at the servo. So that's an interesting requirement to fill it up at the servo. I understand what he's saying, so pump fuel.
Yeah, but and I have no problems with what Craig's saying. But the thing is, with the advent of E85, that's really, it doesn't mean much because there's 2 service stations, maybe 3 in WA that sell the E85.
5.
There's 5 now.
Is there 5, really? I only know of 1.
So, an E85 engine, basically E85 is not that far away from methanol. So it's not, in the old days I always felt that nitrous combos were, and I'm sure Craig would agree with me.
He most certainly would.
Nitrous combos were the most street combos because you could run them on pump fuel to get to the track, just knock some timing out of it, get there. Realistically, you can run a 14.5 to 1 compression motor on pump fuel as long as you don't have much timing in it and you've got a big enough camshaft so you bleed off a bit of dynamic compression. And then when you get to the track, put your race fuel in, do your laps and but E85's a game changer because the turbo cars, even supercharged cars, Brian at Outlaws built quite a few supercharged E85 combos now. And they do get driven regularly on the street. So also interesting to note that no one said anything about superchargers.
No.
No one said that superchargers hanging out of the bonnet is not deemed. And on that note, Street Machine Magazine also believes that superchargers hanging out of the bonnet shouldn't be deemed as not streetable. Considering the 2 probably arguably biggest cult car movies made in Australia, Running on Empty and Mad Max, both featured the star cars having superchargers hanging out of the bonnet. It's interesting that in Western Australia,
it's
anyway.
Moving on.
What about Neil Ferns? I mean, he talked about stock style suspension, no chassis mods or roll bars. The cars in the unlimited class of Dragwet USA, for example, are not, in my opinion, street cars. So I have a tendency to agree with Neil there as well. But he's probably gone a bit too far. I mean, as I said, no right or wrong answers. So
the roll cage thing, I understand where he's coming from because essentially what he's saying is that car can be made roadworthy. If it's got stock suspension, it's untubbed, there's no major chassis modifications. Theory is you can pull the engine and transmission out and put everything back to how it needs to be to get over the pits. The roll cage obviously makes that a lot more difficult because you physically have to cut it out. Unfortunately, though, if you are going to race it, you have to have a roll cage. Now, Andrew does allow a bolting cage up to 8.0, which is, pretty fast, but it is a very, very intricate cage and there's a very, very tough procedure involved. You actually have to draw it and send it through to them to get approval before you build it. So it's very, very time consuming and a lot less practical than just welding a cage in. But I completely understand what he's saying. I just felt that if you can cut it out, if you need to, and cut it out, then it's kind of the same thing. Just comes down to, as far as the drag week cars, look, I take my hat off to those guys and same with the guys at the top end of Drag Challenge. It is amazing that you can get something to go that quick and get it to go that many kilometres or miles.
Yeah.
And hats off to those guys for doing it. Would it be practical? Well, I don't know. I mean, going back a few years ago, I think Lutz's 57, that seemed to be everywhere. And, he did do a lot of Ks with that car.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think when I was 17, I would easily have driven a door slammer on the road. No problems. Even if I had to stop every couple of K and fill the tank up, I would not have had an issue with that. Now, pushing 50, aircon, power steering's nice, electric windows is good. And if you recall, the Datsun had electric windows.
Yeah, it did, yeah, had electrics. That was nifty little car. It was quite nice to drive, actually, on the road. I drove that a couple of times on the street. A beautiful little car. Todd, I just want to touch base with you, the Street Car Racing Association. Can you give us a brief on that? Because Dave Jewett wrote in as well and said basically he just put a hyperlink to the Street Car Racing Association. But when I read that, I like it. There is sports sedan in there, so 3D sports sedan, Rally Group 3, Rally Group 3C, Group 6 Rally, Group 2A, 2B, 2F, and in addition, any logbook car may run with us providing they meet street car rules. Are you able to elaborate on how we get those cars collectively into the Street Car Racing Association?
Short answer, no. Long answer, basically those rules are, there's so many rules that all fit in that category. I think their general thing is, unfortunately, it's all weight. I think we've discussed it in the past on the show. It's kind of a weight. Like, you can't go over a certain weight. The engine had to have come from a car similar in that field. But then you can run like a V8 and a BMW. But then you are limited by weight and tyre size.
Okay.
And that's, in short, I mean, correct me if there'll be people that correct me if I'm wrong, probably namely Shane Hardy, who's commented on this as well, in Denver. But, as far as I know, that's how they get around it.
I believe that there is a formula.
Yeah.
And the formula is the width of the tyres, or rims and tyres, the weight of the vehicle, and the size of the engine.
Yeah.
And then there is a multiplier, 1.3 I think it is, for turbocharged or supercharged engines.
We should probably write it down because Denver's actually told us what the formula is. So my apologies, Denver. You'll be listening and you won't be terribly impressed.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
But I mean, that's from what I know. And I mean, also, there's some of the notes here, as Nick's pointed out, and I've read through these a few times, is the rule goes back 40 years. And 40 years ago, you're running what? LJ Tiranas, LC Tiranas, with maybe a 6, maybe an 8 if you were lucky, if you could squeeze it in.
Yeah, the rules have evolved.
Yeah.
One of the things I was surprised about is that they're allowed to run a sequential transmission, which would cost more than any of my cars.
And that's the thing, is I'm not going to argue with anyone there, but to me, that's not street cars.
Okay.
Like, street cars is you put a roll cage in a car, you rock up and you go run around the track.
And there's some interesting rules about the brakes as well, which kind of...
Yeah, there's that as well. So.
But
remember, no right or wrong answers, boys.
No.
All about
the thing that attracted me to that class, because Andrew from Hyperdrive is one of the faster guys, and also Cuz, who works next door, was arguably the fastest, and I watched those cars evolve over time, and I was always blown away by how fast they were. And that's why I was attracted, and I love the fact that they had this formula that encompassed the weight, the tyre size, and the engine capacity, because I think that's a great leveller. So if you ran a sports sedan in there, most of them are 6 litres, you'd have to carry a lot of weight. And I think that it would be a lot more weight than what they normally carry. I thought it was a great class, but then when I looked into rule revision after rule revision after rule revision, it's lost its shine a little bit, kind of like Door Slammer has. the sequential transmissions was one thing, because I thought, well, you've just added like $35,000 to the price of the car, and then the brakes is the next thing. You start putting carbon ceramic brakes and stuff like that on the cars. Yeah. It's not going to take long till you've got a $500,000 car.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just a shout out to the Street Car Racing Association of WA.
Yeah, look,
there's some awesome cars that go up there and play.
Yeah, 58. I think it's the record now. I think Andrew's got it.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
That 180, I mean,
stout.
It's just unbelievable. Like it's a 2 litre, and it's carrying the weight of a 2.2 because he wanted to go a little bit wider with the tyres. So he's carrying the extra weight. You think about that and compare it to like a touring car. That's just unbelievable. And this is a guy that's got a small workshop in Malaga and does a majority of the work himself. It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
And that car is, I think it's been around in its current form for about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's got trick bits in it, but it's also overly simplistic, if that makes sense. Whereas
I think it's got one of Cuz's tubular subframes front and rear.
Yeah, but other
tubular
than that,
arms.
like, there's no trick aero, there's not a great deal in it, and it's just a stout motor, a really stout. And he puts the power down, like he knows every bump, every corner, every groove, and so. And then you watch cars like Denver's, like the R33, which, sequential, the whole lot. Which again is a fast bit of kit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, they are incredible for what they are, but the rules have sort of
drifted from what
what I would what enticed me, and that's something that seems to happen unless it's a controlled class like the Hyundai Cup or the HQ series. They ultimately end up somewhere else. And for someone that's been in the class for a long time, it works out good for them because they can slowly upgrade the brakes, upgrade this, upgrade that. But if you want to step into it, really the only way you can get a leg up and be competitive is to buy a competitive car, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And then there's the whole improved production as well, which technically some of those are street cars, but then they have slightly different set of rule books, and we won't get into that tonight, but IPRE racing up at Wanneroo is quite hilarity, has been for the last 10 years, because there's guys that rock up with restrictors and turbos yet run 59s, and you're like, okay.
What are the restrictors made out of rice paper?
I think
Fly
so.
wire.
All right, hey, we'll move along. On the weekend, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to it, but we had the Custom Coastal Cruise. Chad Douglas and Hayley Douglas, hats off to them. I haven't met them before. I don't know them, to be honest, but they pulled off what was really, I would argue, almost the impossible. So congratulations to them. They did have a bit of a setback a couple of weeks ago. So unregistered cars were looking like being able to enter and get permits. That fell through. So in the end, all the cars had to be registered. But in the end, they still got a great turnout. And hats off to Chad and Hayley Douglas. As I said, should try and reach out to them because they're going to make this an annual event. And it'd like to be nice to have them on and get to meet them and just have a chat with them.
One of my customers was going, and he told me that you were allowed to run blown cars.
Yeah, that's correct.
You were.
How unbelievable! That's a first for WA.
Slotted in, and look, this came with the Shire's approval, the police approval, and this was a lot of people ticking a lot of boxes to make this happen. So congratulations to them. And
hats off to them. Hats off to them for including supercharged cars.
Yes.
From what I saw, it was a good turnout. I had a few friends that went, and apparently a few will say they weren't registered, but they weren't unregistered. They ran on the day, but there was very limited numbers. So
I think all the cars had to be registered, but I know what you're saying. Hey, now, I wanted to get your thoughts. We had last Sunday, the embargo lifted, the curtain raised, thanks to the Sunday Times. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Did you guys actually see the article in the Sunday Times, our next subject?
No, the Sunday Times is part of the West Australian.
They had anyway. Look, you know what? I shouldn't talk about this. It got at my goat. Let's put it that way.
It'd be a 7. You'd have to talk to James Warburton about that one, Nick.
I'd like to say I wouldn't read the Sunday Times if you paid me. And for anyone listening that might work at the Sunday Times, change my mind, pay me.
Well, look.
When it was an independent paper, and before Gumtree,
before the Quokka. Actually, didn't the Sunday Times own the Quokka for a while? Anyway, sorry.
I think there was a religious group that set it up originally and owned it.
The Quokka, I believe so, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
And then I believe they sold it to the Sunday Times.
Yeah, they did.
Because the Sunday Times was about to go broke. Nick and I are from an era when we used to go to the Sunday Times in Northbridge, I guess it is.
Yeah, it was. I know the building.
East Perth.
East Perth,
yeah.
East Perth.
And buy the paper and ring people from a phone box on Saturday night.
You were those guys.
Todd, my XW was brought out of the Sunday Times. That's no word of a lie. Out of the Sunday, but it was a Sunday morning, early.
See, I shouldn't admit to this, but
most of the panels on mine were too.
We had a neighbour that worked for the Sunday Times in the advertising department. And she would work the Saturday afternoon shift, so bring it home with her, the first edition. And you could tell the first edition by the little cross on the front top corner of the Anyway, there you go. See, I do know some stuff from the olden days.
Inside information there. Told you were cheating.
Anyway, I'm a little bit cranky at the Sunday Times because they had an embargo on a story that was released last week. So we had the story, but we couldn't release it till 8 a.m. Sunday morning. And that story was buried in the Sunday Times. They had an embargo. They had the exclusivity to the story. They put it at page 18 and it was this big. Actually, it's on my phone.
Yeah, well, that would be Kerry Stokes.
But why deprive us of this? Anyway, Rita Saffioti, the Honourable Rita Saffioti, has done something for car people, and concessions for classics is now out there. So we will be getting a 75% reduction on our registration. It's only applicable to cars built prior to 1990. So, Todd, you're in the 180SX.
Yeah, and the 1600.
And the 1600 are in.
Wait for it.
So, you will need to be a member of a Department of Transport approved car club.
Talking Power is becoming a car club, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I already got the queue at the front door, by the way. I'm serious. My mates are excited about this. I revved them up. They're excited.
And you will be able to use those cars for 30 days a year, free, and an additional 60 days with the car club.
Yeah.
So 90 days all up.
Yep.
Yeah, and how often does it need to get registration checks?
Zero. No checks.
That's no checks?
No checks.
And can you reverse it from this type of rego to normal rego?
It's a good question that I don't know. We need to clarify that.
Yeah, that I don't know either. I actually read
Where's the catch, Nick?
There is no catch. And I've looked through the Honourable Readers.
This is very, very similar to the South Australian regulations, but I believe they were a Liberal government when they brought them in.
It is very, very close, with the exception South Australia, I believe, is 90 days of free driving. We have 90 days, but 60 of those 90 are club drives, club runs, 30 are free. But for me, that's still perfect.
Yeah, that's
perfect, 30 days. So congratulations to everyone involved in that. I know there's a lot of people working on that. I actually made a submission, and as it turned out, that was very close to my submission that I had submitted. So I just think it's great news for everyone.
Yeah, so a lot of my mates that have slightly older cars are very happy, and as they said, they only drive them, a lot of them work FIFO actually.
Yep.
And they only get to drive them every second or third week anyway, so they're quite happy with that.
Yep.
So
anyway, congratulations there. Looking forward to that. And in answer to your question, no, I will not be starting the car club.
Well, we have bad news for you.
So it's already started.
It's already started.
It's already started.
So yeah, I had a bad feeling about that.
Yeah, so...
Have you seen the Constitution? No, I haven't seen it yet. No.
And you're the president.
I'll have to send him that memo, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Someone I talked about already off air, and
there's a few people saying that. Hey, I'm going to do the hand grenade. I'm going to drop the hand grenade now, and this is going to get everyone upset. A lot of our listeners upset, but I'm going to drop it anyway. It's not, I don't think, one way or another, but I will say one thing. The Formula One ran at Mugello on the weekends, first time they've ever been there. Lewis Hamilton got around in 1 minute 15 seconds. Marc Marquez's lap record, 1 minute 45, 30-second difference.
Yeah.
A lot of the Formula One people are saying, how's that, motorbike boys? What do you guys think of that?
Well, one's got 4 wheels and aerodynamic aids, and the other one's got 2 wheels.
Now this argument, well, yeah, you know a bit more about bikes than I do, but this argument goes back to...
You can't brake as late on a bike.
Yeah, and you've got more tyre surface touching the road that allows more grip in a Formula One car.
It's just a bit of bait, just a bit of hand grenade, roll it out there and see what happens.
I'll put this to you.
Yeah.
Let's take all the driver's aids off Lewis Hamilton's car.
Yep.
And the wings.
Yep.
And let's see how fast he goes round.
No, you can...
Or actually, let's see if he can actually go round.
Yeah.
You don't even need to take the wings off. Just take the aids off, and I think you'd have your answer.
I think it would be fair to take the wings off.
Because
where's the aero on a bike? Those little things that got.
No, there's no aero. It's just a hand grenade, boys. It's just a bit of a joke. It's like thought we could. Didn't work. Not a lot's panning out for me tonight in the studio. We've started off poorly here.
What was more exciting to watch? The bikes going around Mugello, the Formula One cars.
I have to be honest, the bikes actually last night. That was a lot more exciting. That was exciting. Hey, anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on to that right now. The Auto One customer loyalty program, the Auto One Club, has been designed to provide privileges to loyal customers. Head on over to www.auto1.com.au and click on the club membership tab, or alternatively head into your local Auto One store and ask about the benefits that come with being a loyal Auto One Club member. While you're in the store, be sure to check out Auto One's extensive range of Impact Automotive garage tools, floor mats and coolant. The Impact Automotive range offers quality products at affordable prices. From a 3-ton heavy-duty trolley jack to an adjustable mechanic seat, the Impact Automotive range has a garage tool that'll suit your needs. The range has also well over 20 different types of floor and boot mats to suit your ride. They come in rubber or fabric with a PVC backing to stop slipping. Also in the range is an extensive choice of coolant. Whether it be pre-mixed or concentrate, the long life range of red and green Impact Automotive coolant is bound to have a product that suits your needs. To view the full range of Impact Automotive products, head on over to www.auto1.com.au or visit one of their stores. Auto One is committed to bringing you the brands you know and trust at great prices. Coupled with their team's knowledge and experience, Auto One, it's the one. Hey boys, I want to kick off with Formula One. Well, really, I want to kick off with Formula 3. We have a new world champion. Oscar Piastri has wrapped up the Formula 3 world title. I don't know if you guys managed to catch any of his races, but this final race on the weekend was he had to finish basically higher than 9th to win the championship. Unfortunately, the guy leading the championship went out in the first lap, so it opened the door for Oscar to win the championship, and he managed to get 7th in the end, and amazing achievement for young Melburnian from Victoria, and congratulations. I can't wait to see him go up the ranks into Formula 2 and arguably Formula 1, who knows.
Yeah.
Which team was he with, Nick?
So the Prema team, it's a Renault team. It's what they call the Prema. Renault.
So does that mean he's signed as a Renault?
Nah, not yet.
Future?
Nah, not at this stage. But hopefully this is now enough for him to get a deal done. I would have thought.
Yeah, should be.
I think so. You know, you win a Formula 3 championship, it'll put you in good stead for Formula 2 and Formula 1 as well.
You guys catch RPM?
From time to time, not every week.
No, okay. Yeah, so they did a story on a young girl who races go-karts who's become part of this global Women in Motorsports program that Ferrari is promoting, and she's heading over to be part of the Ferrari school. So Ferrari runs cars right through from the go-karts all the way through to Formula One. It's an incredible initiative to try and attract more women into the sport.
Yeah, yep.
I know there's a big push in the UK at the moment. One of the former, well, actually the what's her name? She was in the Grand Tour. Abby Eaton is her name.
Yep.
She drove the cars in season 2 and season 3 in Grand Tour. She's doing a big push in the UK and promoting BTCC, Formula 3, Formula 2, almost anything she can. And yeah, there's actually girls winning events over there. And I think her Twitter feed's actually really exciting to watch because she's actually a massive fan of the V8 supercars as well.
Okay.
And
Why?
You know what? I'm neutral on this. I enjoy watching them every now and then. I'm not like yourself, who's.
No, look, the thing that annoys me with the V8 supercars, and RPM was a classic, right? So they did an interview with one of the Holden guys. I don't know which one it was. The one that's third in the championship or whatever. He's not second in the championship. I think Shane Van Gisbergen's second.
SVG, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
I think...
And they were really going, you're gonna hunt down Scotty, and you're gonna take Scotty out, like this big deal about. Well, what about interviewing Scotty? He's the guy that's leading the championship. Why is it that 10 has to really hammer the Ford guys? What's the deal there?
I'm not sure myself either, but I mean, needless to say, I'd be really interested to see what happens to RPM next year because they've lost the V8s as well. Not lost it, they gave it up. They relinquished it, so...
And that show's come back from the dead 3 or 4 times already.
RPM?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the one thing that they've got, and they do well, is the MotoGP. All they just need to do is get rid of the other guy and just have Daryl Beattie by himself. In fact, they should clone Daryl Beattie.
No.
And have him talking to himself because he is brilliant. And whoever they put to co-host, it's just a waste of time. All the bike guys want to hear from Daryl Beattie.
Why don't you like Daryl Beattie, Todd?
He'd put coma patients to sleep.
He puts what?
Coma patients to sleep.
Oh, come on, Todd.
Nah, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And he's been there and done that.
No, I know it.
You know what I mean?
Give him credit for that.
He's just a champion of a guy.
All right, well.
Hey, look, we're talking MotoGP. Let's get into MotoGP. We'll come back to Formula One.
Do we have to?
Yeah, let's do MotoGP.
No, do we have to come back to Formula One?
Yes, we do.
Can we just scrap it?
I was about to say, hang on, while we're talking about RPM, I don't know the exact amount of years, but and we're segueing into MotoGP. Barry Sheen, anniversary of him leaving this country, or leaving this world, sorry. It was actually Bathurst weekend from memory in...
Yeah.
I can't remember how many years ago. But
It'd have to be close to 20, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
If not more.
And a lot of our listeners, actually again Denver, and a few other people I know will...
No, I don't think it's quite 20.
Not yet.
No, it'd be like 18, I reckon.
But I remember watching Barry Sheen commentating and stuff, and that made my day.
17.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, it hasn't been. It's 10th of March he passed away. So.
I thought it was the weekend.
So did I, yeah.
Sorry. It was the weekend of the Melbourne F1.
Yeah. But yeah,
for some reason I thought it was
17 years.
He's arguably the best commentator they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mark Osler too, but he was Channel 7. I don't think he did much on Channel 10, Mark Osler.
But yeah,
who do you reckon is the worst commentator they've had? Apart from Mark Scaife.
Not Network 10, but Doug Mulray wasn't. I didn't like Doug Mulray. Remember Doug Mulray? Bathurst for a few years.
Yep.
With Mike Raymond, and you could see Mike Raymond just did not get along with Doug Mulray at all.
Doug Mulray was a bit of an egg.
Anyway, MotoGP. We need to get on the MotoGP.
Nah, let's do Formula One.
Okay, we'll
let's
do
Formula One.
Gee whiz.
Keep it short.
Live and dangerous.
All right,
30 seconds.
There's a lot. There's a lot to digest.
And you can't mention Lewis Hamilton besides this. So
Lewis Hamilton won. That's it. All right, MotoGP.
No, you got to mention Vettel and Ferrari. That was hilarious.
Mate, there was no... Where were they? Well, they like 10th or something.
Who's Ferrari?
Yeah.
I don't know this team you talk of. Did you know it was their 1,000th race? This was their 1,000th race.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Is that where they placed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know they
It felt
made
like that.
Vettel look completely stupid, which I don't know.
They made him look stupid week after week. Like, what was this week any different?
Does he deserve it? I don't know.
No, he doesn't.
No.
But did you notice that the Ferraris were painted in a different red, or wrapped? They're not painted, but was wrapped in a different red. It was like a burgundy. It was. What are you looking at me like that for?
No, I didn't
It
actually.
was close to the original Ferrari that raced in 1950.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
So it looked. What's
No,
with the attitude? Well, this was the same burgundy from back in 1950. So the first Formula, they were participating in the first Formula One race. So this is the red. It was
Formula One hasn't always been the premier class.
No, it wasn't back in those days, and it sort of came and went as the years went on. It wasn't. It never left, but I mean, it ebbed. It certainly ebbed and flowed in the years, and I'd argue that Can-Am was probably more popular in some
definitely.
period as well.
Yeah.
Well, I remember reading once that Colin Chapman went to Indy because he said that if we win at Indy, that will cover our Formula One racing budget for 2 years.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so look, I mean, it was a tribute, and even the pace car, the AMG Mercedes pace car, was painted red as well to tribute the 1,000th race for Ferrari, and they had an absolute shock. And it was really disappointing to see Leclerc just sink quite badly, and the Ferraris.
What were you going to say? Like stone?
Yeah, like a stone. So what did you think of the crash? Did you guys, or the crashes, I must say? There was the crash at the opening.
I didn't get that involved when I saw all that. I just saw the highlights package.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I'll be honest. But
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it.
Simon was out mowing the lawn or something, you know.
So can I ask then, what are your thoughts on this? Because this is applicable to all most motorsports. So the restart. We're going to talk about the restart. I know you don't want to talk about it, but I do. Bottas is entitled to set the pace on the restart.
Correct.
He doesn't have to go until he crosses the start-finish line. And even then he doesn't have to go, but other cars can pass him.
Correct.
Yeah.
Start-finish line. So the lights have gone green to tell him to go.
So if it was Bathurst, you'd have it in
Yeah.
first gear idly.
You'd have it in D.
You'd have it in neutral.
Angel drop it.
You'd turn the motor off and coast.
So Bottas is setting the pace. He's entitled to do that. The lights have gone green. He hasn't got to the start-finish line yet. He's actually still warming up the tyres. But cars behind him can't see quite well. They go for it. They got their foot into it, and we see this massive concertina effect. And like those three cars, they got hit hard. I mean, they were damaged significantly, and I was lucky that there wasn't any serious injuries there.
They need to fix this, right? So what they're going to need is the assisted restart package.
They need a restart button.
They need the assisted... Well, they've got the assisted start package, right?
The firmware update.
The anti-stall.
Anti-stall,
right?
I don't think that should be in
So they need the assisted restart package to avoid this, because the whole reason they brought in the anti-stall was to avoid exactly this happening. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There was a rolling start, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it was to avoid people running into the back of each other.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay, so they need the assisted restart package.
Yeah, you raise a good point there.
Yeah.
You raise a very good point.
And I'm sure that this federal government is the one to deliver it.
Anyway, look, I mean, you could almost overlay the Benny Hill music. It was just that pile up Giovinazzi there. I'm not saying it was his fault. It wasn't really anyone's fault. They were just going. They had their foot into it, and the cars in front just weren't going. So, and I'm not suggesting it's Bottas's fault. He's entitled to do that. It was quite I mean, it was great to see Dan do so well, got up to second, but again, he just got ran
He
over.
didn't get a penalty. Didn't get like a 300-point penalty and $10,000 fine or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
No,
but
they only do that to the forwards, don't they?
for valve lift, illegal valve lift. And do you guys reckon Alex Albon did enough? Has he secured his spot for next year? He finished. What did he finish? He finished. Yeah, third.
I don't even know which team he's with.
Red Bull. So he's Max Verstappen's. He's had a shocker. Yeah, really.
Who knows?
Yeah, but isn't Vettel going to Red Bull?
Nah.
No, he's not. I was wrong.
You
We're
were
going to
wrong.
talk about
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to Racing Point. We'll get onto that in a second.
I was about to say, who knows? I honestly reckon, who knows? Formula One.
When silly season start?
It's just started.
Yeah, let's say
It's just started.
the circus. Yeah.
Anyway, who cares?
So yeah, Sebastian Vettel is off to Aston Martin, which is at the moment is still a Racing Point. They'll be rebranded as Aston Martin next year.
And what motors will they have?
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Just don't mention the war.
You knew I was going to ask that question.
I knew he was going to ask it, and already I was like, oh, yeah, how do you say they got Mercedes?
This is why they should just get rid of it. You know, they sold it to the Americans. That was the end of it. You know what I mean? It's just bring back Bernie. Bernie had it sussed. Ferrari would be allowed to run nitrous just to keep up.
I got to ask was why have we never why is
Why don't they
Formula
call
One-
it Formula Merc?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Formula
Yeah.
Merc, because it is becoming an issue in my mind, and I don't think the rules for 2022 are going to do much to curb Mercedes dominance. To be honest,
Well, it depends, Nick. So they might bring in a flat tap at cam rule or something like that. V8, 5.7 litres.
and LS rule.
LS engines. LS engines for the whole grid.
I know. But anyway, look, from the week before, what we're doing, we forgot that the week before we had an amazing race at Monza where we had Pierre Gasly win the race. We saw Lewis Hamilton get a penalty for entering the pit lane when the pit lane was closed, which doesn't happen very often in Formula One.
What, that Lewis Hamilton gets a penalty?
Yeah, that and also the pit lane being shut. It was an unusual situation, but there was a stricken car close to the entry of the pit lane, so it was shut. No one else except for Antonio Giovinazzi got it wrong. So at the end of the day, he pleaded his case because that it got red flagged, that race, and he pleaded his case upstairs to
Hamilton did.
to the steward, but it wasn't. Yeah, he had to serve a 10-second stop go, and that put the end to his race. So it was great to see Pierre Gasly win the week before, and but didn't finish this week. So there you go.
Now, I noticed you mentioned here about Claire Williams selling the controlling part of Williams.
Yeah, Doralton Capital have bought Williams.
Interesting choice, guys. Interesting choice. We've seen superannuation funds and investment funds buying into motorsports before. I've got a word of advice for you guys. If you want to make $1 million out of motor racing, you need to start with $1 billion. So, what's your share price plummet?
It's really sad actually to see. They were kind of the last bastion of, I won't say privateers, they're not privateers, but they were the last sort of family-owned Formula One team, really.
Well, that's only because Bruce McLaren died.
I know, but it's really sad to see them go now. The entire field is a corporate entity, which you shouldn't be surprised. That's how the world's going.
But I think it's good because ultimately that'll ruin the sport, and then we don't have to talk about it anymore.
I don't want the sport ruined. I mean, the sport certainly needs to flourish.
It is not a motorsport anymore. It has become something that it was never meant to be. Those cars have so much electronic input, so much going on in the pits, changing the way the car drives, so much lack of what it's meant to be. You can't the best thing that could happen for Formula One is that it just didn't exist anymore, and they made something that made sense from the ruins, because it's not, I look at things like the best eras for motorsports, and I wasn't around in the 60s and 70s, but I feel that those cars and those drivers were really the pinnacle of that sport. And everyone gets too caught up in the lap times. Forget the lap times. Look at the racing. Look at how good it is to watch. Look at how the crowd cheers for it. Look at the danger that the drivers are undertaking every time they step into those cars. It's just like the V8 supercars. The Group C era was the pinnacle. No ifs, no buts. This rubbish that we've got now, with a tube frame chassis, they're a funny car of the circuit world. That's what they are.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt about it. But I agree with you 100% when it comes to the supercars. I do. I think they've morphed into something that's just...
But all this kinetic energy, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what it's about. It's about an internal combustion engine driving a pair of tyres, and what it is now, where they have all these buttons, no one knows for sure that the drivers are actually controlling those vehicles. You can't say that. You can't say 100% that the driver... it's fly-by-wire throttle for starters. Who knows what they've got programmed in?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yep.
It's, bring back the H pattern. Weber's and H pattern. Bring it back.
Speaking of that, we need to make up a shirt that says bring back the H pattern. Write it. I'm going to get you to write it down before we leave. I'm going to make a shirt up. Yeah. I'm going to sell thousands of them.
Millions.
We're going to make our money just from that. Because you know what? How many people come up to me and say, go to H pattern.
It's look, anyone that disagrees with me, I just ask them to watch the famous movie by Richie Cunningham there. Rush. Yeah. Watch Rush and tell me I'm wrong. Watch Rush, tell me I'm wrong. That's when men were men, and women were happy that they were men.
Yes. Very well put. Very diplomatic there as well. Politically correct, and yes, very well done.
Yeah.
Anyway,
in a podcast where we haven't been politically correct at all. But anyway,
anyway,
cut a lot of it out.
Let's get on to some real motor racing.
MotoGP, and they did not disappoint once again. I just want to start. Fabio Quartararo. Where are we at? Where's Fabio at? What are we thinking?
He crashed.
Yeah, I know. So where's he at? Like we saw him win 2 races, and we've seen him just fall off the cliff, in my view.
Nah, it got loose. Like I don't think he's fallen off the cliff. Look, he got back on that bike and he went into chase mode, and then eventually his tyre. It was a tricky. That track is a very technical track, right? So tyre selection, depending on what bike you're on, was pretty important. Most of the guys went for a soft, right? Vignales, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't understand. What was that all about?
I don't know. The Ducati with the medium rear, probably a good choice, because the way the Ducati, the power delivery is not as good as the other bikes. Yeah. Some would argue it's because it's got so much power, who knows? But a lot of high angle, low speed corners, relative to other tracks. I think he'll be back. I don't think it's an issue, and it was a great race. It was an amazing start, because we saw everything just get so jumbled even before we got to the first turn.
Yeah.
And those guys have all got the same launch control setups. So, if you're talking Yamaha with Yamaha, well, you've all got the same gear. So it's down to the rider. You know what I mean?
But Franco took off like a bat out of hell. That bike left the line hard. I mean, it looked awesome. He showed him a clean set of hills on that start.
Yeah,
he got the whole shot.
Yeah,
there's no ifs or buts there.
That hooked up that thing.
And then it was a great battle between him and Rossi for a lot of laps there. Now, I mean, those Morbidelli and I've forgotten his name now.
His co-rider, Fabio Quartararo.
No, Morbidelli and...
the guy that came second.
Yeah.
Was Franco or Pecco Bagnaia.
Mm-hmm. They're both, I believe, VR46.
They are academies.
Yeah, they are.
Academy riders. And, two Italian riders to win an Italian circuit. Would have been great for Rossi to come home a third. He got pipped.
Thanks, Joanne.
Last lap. Joan, mate. It's pronounced Joan.
I'm going to call him Joanne.
But the great thing about this race is not the fact that we had 2 Italian riders in an Italian race. It's not the fact that they were both VR46 Academy riders. It's the fact that we had a Yamaha, a Ducati, and a Suzuki on the podium.
Yep.
Now, all this season, this is what we've seen. You take Marc Marquez out of the equation, and it's a different sport. It's so much more exciting to watch. It's so much better. And Honda's got some big questions that need to be answered. Big questions.
It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Anyway, we talked about that on a previous podcast.
You need to take your hat off, though, right? And you really need to say that Joan, what he accomplished in those last couple of laps, getting around Rins the way he did, and then getting around Rossi the way he did. I mean, that was a clean move.
Yeah.
Rossi ran that, we're talking inches wide. He didn't run wide. He ran a couple of inches wide, and he got that bike in there. So that guy there's one to watch, because that's not the Suzukis are still coming a long way. So that's, I'm excited. Next season, man.
It is. I'm looking forward. You say next season. There's still, I think, 6 or 7 races left.
There is 8 or 9 races left.
Yeah,
there is 9 races in the next 11 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty much back to back from this point onwards now. And I looked at the calendar. I said, "What an exciting way to finish the year." Now that footy's just about finished, this is much more exciting than footy, I must say.
Yeah,
and I'm a footy fan.
The Eagles won, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but I don't know. I have no care for footy this year, to be honest with you. But anyway, how
the
cool
Dockers won too.
They did.
That was a bit of an upset game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
But there's no way they can get into the finals now.
Nah.
And now the big debate is local finals or no local finals. Is Mark McGowan going to bend the rules for the AFL, just like Queensland did?
Well, I'm curious to know what the rule was with the V8 supercars. I've asked Paul Papalia, the Honourable Minister for Tourism, twice on 2 occasions now, just for some clarifications regarding the V8 supercars. Not here to judge, just want to know who made the decision and why.
Yeah, they're not coming, yeah?
No, they're not coming, no. But I am seeking clarification from the Honourable Minister, Paul Papalia, Tourism Minister. Please answer my email. I'm sure he will. They have to, don't they? They're obligated to answer any email.
Unless they say they never got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
it's in his junk mail folder.
It's just a simple question. No, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
If he made the decision that he doesn't want them here for because of health issues,
I think, you know what, I've got to say, aside from the King of Australia there, I think McGowan's, been pretty, straightforward. The rules are, it's one set of rules for everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
As opposed to other states which are having breakouts now. You want to whinge about WA, but then you let shit happen in your own state,
yeah.
and then you like, you know what I mean? Like, get with the program. Seems like what we're doing here seems to be working.
it's working 100%.
And they're all talking about, like, New South Wales, we've got to get moving again. You got a problem there, mate, and you don't know how bad the problem is, because it's you know how you nip it in the bud and make your numbers look good. Stop testing. There you go. Don't test, you're not going to find anyone, are you?
No.
Anyway, where were we? We were still talking MotoGP. Are we going back to that? MotoGP. KTM, that's what I had to ask you. KTM. Was that just was their performance over the last few races where they rated really well? Now, have they come crashing back to earth, or is this just a...
No, it's just a different track.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the tracks have been longer tracks. I mean, I don't think they went over 300 in Italy. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see any of them go over 300. Whereas the other tracks, they were, going well over 300. So KTM's probably got good horsepower, good straight line speed. This was more of a technical track, and this is definitely where Yamaha, the thing you guys need to really focus on here is the Yamaha was always going to be a sure bet at this track. Okay, that was a given. Look at the qualifying, right? That was a given. It's amazing that the Ducati and the Suzuki got there, and that you have to say is the skill of the rider. I think it's great. We've got a group of riders now. I mean, look at the points. Look at the points. That's all you got to look at.
Yeah.
It's like 16 points between the top 6 or 7. That's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, it was Dovy's the leader. Isn't he?
Dovy's leading.
Yeah, by
Yes.
6 or 7. I saw that. Yeah. No, congratulations to Dovey, and let's hope we. I'm really, in all seriousness, I am looking forward to the next 11 weeks because it is. I looked at the calendar. I said, "Oh, that's awesome." They're pretty much racing every Sunday.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, right? So Quartararo, right? Still young, still green. Okay, so you're going to make unforced mistakes, right? The important part now is you cannot risk dropping the bike and getting injured now. There is no recovery time. No. You are not going to... And you know what? The rider of this race, Bagnaia, for sure, he was riding with a broken leg.
Big time. I wrote that in the notes. How cool is that? Had a broken leg.
Broken leg came second. And given a few more laps... The back tyre, he reckoned that was just starting to come on because he went with the medium rear, which I think was a wise choice for the Ducati. He would have been challenging the lead. Incredible, absolutely incredible. So you can't afford to go to 11 tenths, 12 tenths now for the rest of this season. You got to back it off a little bit if you're smart. If you're not smart, you're going to go for it. And you're going to miss out. You're going to, So if you're in that top 10 now, you're in contention.
Yep.
And that's great. That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
We don't want to see one guy take away the season. I understand that if he's better and the bike's better and so on, then, they deserve it. But it just makes for boring racing then. Thankfully, because the rest of the field's so close, we've seen some great battles for second and third. Which has kept us watching. But we kind of gotten to the point there at one stage, like last season, where you knew Marquez was going to win. So, you sort of, even the TV wasn't really showing him that much.
You beat me to it, they weren't. So I'm like, second and third's doing well. And you're like,
look at this battle for fifth and sixth.
Marquez is down the pie shop with, Lewis Hamilton going, hey, I finished the race. How you going?
That's been a trait of Formula One, that, they're showing 16th and 15th battle it out or something way back in the, Anyway, that's what you do, I guess. All right, guys, what are you guys up to anyway? Give us a bit of an update on what you guys are working on or doing. Todd, you want to go?
I'll go. Not a great deal, but in the same breath, buttoning up a few things on the Evo, finally. And got my 180 running after a year of not touching it for a whole year for some stupid reason. Had one of those days where I got probably 3 months worth of work done in a day, which I was pretty happy with. So that we won't say soon, but we'll say sooner than.
You're going to sell that, yeah?
No, I'm keeping it. You see what they're worth? Keeping it. And built motor, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to enjoy it a bit because why not?
You were going to sell it.
No.
You were going to sell it. You told me you were going to sell it.
No, keeping that. So
you've only got one, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you need a second one?
I do, actually. I didn't think you want to part with it, or do you want to part with it now?
Yeah, I want to part with it.
We'll talk off air.
Okay.
Ooh, there's an offline discussion happening after this.
Because I need bits. So, yeah, we'll talk about off air. Done. So, look at this. And, all for me is, Tiger West is down the pipeline. I still haven't decided if I'm doing media or officiating or competing in some form or another. So, yeah.
He's pulling you out.
I know, don't worry.
You know how disgusted I am? He's putting football. He just finished telling us, I'm not that interested in football. He's putting football in front of it.
To be fair,
and it's going to be the all 4 day is going to be right there, right? His favourite thing in the whole world, right there, Targa. The opportunity for the, bring talk and power to the millions. No, I got a junior footy thing to work. Can't.
See, you know what's funny? You think I'd be the one giving him a hard time? I actually said to him, "Good on you for going to junior footy," didn't I? I said to you,
He did.
and I said, keeping his lovely wife happy, the kids happy. I said, if I was in the same situation, rose ahead.
I could see this happening from days ago. I was like, that's going to conflict. I can see that. Anyway, it does conflict. But I'll be at Tiger for the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
And we'll have something on the Sunday. We haven't worked out what yet, but there'll be something going on, and we'll be down there and have a chat to myself and a few other people floating around. So
I'll be there for those. Just the Sunday. Can't be there.
Yeah. No, I've been having fun going through the rule book for Targa at the
Kids
moment.
football, unfortunately, comes first. But anyway, that's it. That's the final. That's it. After that day, finished. 25th of October. Thank God. It's been a long season. Hey, how about yourself, Simon? What are you up to?
I actually had last week. I didn't have it off, as in I didn't go to work. I went to work every day, but I didn't work on any of the cars in the workshop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My brother's 70th is coming up, and my brother, for those of you that don't know, he has a collection of Rolls Royces, but we're not talking about a valuable collection of Rolls Royces. He has a collection of the model Rolls Royces.
That's not really nice. I thought all Rollses were pretty good.
Well, they're the ones that he likes. He likes the ones, He likes the new ones, but he's too much of a tight ass to buy one.
So he's got like some of the 1980 model ones. That
that's it. You got it. That's it.
I know the ones.
Got the Spirits and the...
Like the Sheik in Cannonball Run.
What is the Shadow? It's got Shadow 2s and Spirits. Anyway, so he swapped... This sounds hilarious. It's absolutely ridiculous. He swapped a Rolls Royce... He swapped a Rolls Royce for a Harley.
I'm about to say for a microphone.
no. But you know what? When he told me, that's what I was like. The Blues Brothers. Was it a gold microphone? Was it a gold Harley Davidson? No, he swapped a Silver Spirit, which is the WB front end style.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yep. He swapped one that I know how much it owed him because he bought that one when they were worth money, and he swapped it for a Harley.
Yeah.
Right. That wasn't running.
Was it the Harley that's in the workshop?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
You've been building bikes, have you? You've been building Harleys.
So because his birthday's coming up, it's been there for a while, and basically had to figure out what was wrong with it, and take it from there.
The badge.
So.
Sorry, there's some Harley listeners, I know.
Anyway. So for those of you that are out there in Harley Davidson land, it's a 1986 FXRS, a bike that not that long ago wasn't worth that much money, but apparently now they're sought after.
Okay.
So...
Hardtail or softtail are those ones for people playing at home?
No, they're like a Dyna before the Dyna existed.
Roger.
So this is the Evo motor. So you've got I think it goes flat head, pan head, shovel head, Evo.
Yeah.
And then twin cam, which I don't know. I think there may be a new motor now, but the twin cam was the last of the, So these have got the springs on the outside, like a Dyna. But it's not actually a dyno. It's an FXR, but his is a FXRS.
It looks quite nice.
Yeah, they kind of look like a wide glide. They're sort of like anyway. So when it arrived, Emilio dropped it off on the tow truck. The oil pump was removed from it, so we drained all the fluids out of everything, and I sourced a new oil pump for it. And about 50th go, I figured out how to put it on without taking the motor out, because you got to kind of put all the bolts in and rotate it around the shaft. Anyway, I got it in there, and struggled getting oil pressure, and then I figured out that the lines were all connected wrong. So we got that sorted, or I got that sorted. Then went through all the oils, the primary, blah 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 blah. So rebuilt the starter motor on it, replaced the solenoid on it, and I believe that this bike may be, and I've never come across this before, right? So I'm just theorising. Maybe a case of the jilted lubber.
Oh, okay.
The jilted
Yes.
lubber.
It's starting to sound like that, actually, with oil lines all mixed up.
Because, the oil lines mixed up, I believe, may be whoever worked on it last.
Oh, okay.
Right. But no, the reason I believe it's a jilted... So I got the thing to where it turned over, right? And it would sort of run for, a little bit, and then... turn off. Basically, as soon as you stop cranking it, it would, not run. So I thought that may be a wiring issue, that it may not, it'll only have spark when the starter motor's turning, because some cars have that problem. They have a dual ignition system. But I got up really early on I think it was Friday morning or Thursday morning or something, and went into work, and I thought, I'll pull the carby apart, and it's got a Mikumi on it. Yep. So for the Harley guys out there that pre fuel injection, the old guys, with the Evo pre fuel injection, apparently they don't come standard with the Mikumi, right? And this Mikumi looks pretty new, but everything was seized and blocked in this carby, and I've never come across anything like this. Whatever it was, carby cleaner didn't have any effect on it whatsoever, so it involves me re-drilling
Wow.
the orifices, right? So I thought the needle and seat was stuck, because it was overflowing. Well, it turned out that the float, right? I know all you millennials, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
They wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, it's a float, like your toilet, just like that inside a carby. Well, it's exactly the same way too.
Yeah.
The float was seized on the shaft.
Why do you think a millennial would know how a toilet works? They wouldn't know that either.
I'm sure that they would know how a toilet works. You don't think so?
No.
What do they do when a toilet stops working?
They call a plumber.
Oh, okay.
Well, the mum and
Fair
dad.
enough. But if they've been to Bunnings, maybe they've walked past and seen...
They only go to Bunnings for sausage sizzles.
Sorry, I've distracted you.
Anyway, so I pulled the carby apart, cleaned it all. I think I've missed one circuit, right? Put it all back together, fired straight up, ran, took it for a couple of test drives. First test drive, I made it to the first corner before I had to call someone to rescue me. But that was my fault. I forgot to turn the fuel tap on.
Okay.
The second test ride, I made it to within 100 metres of the service station. I ran out of fuel on that one. But then after that, I took it for a ride. The ride's good.
Ride's nice?
Yeah, it's really good. It's got like there's just a little stumble there. So I'd say one of there's a circuit that I've missed in the carby that must be blocked. That's my gut feeling. But yeah, so that was last week. This week, the Merc's pretty much done. Just the little bit of wiring, which I might wait for Jamie to get back to do that. Bonnet needs to be painted, but bonnet's all fitted, trimmed up, ready to go, all the mounts made, etc., and then bolt the seats back in. So I'll probably concentrate on transmissions this week to try and catch up on the backlog, because aside from squaring and scaling it, there's not really much to be done on that car. So fingers crossed we'll make it to benzene.
You've been very busy by the sound of things. I know you've had a lot on, so that's great.
It's been sitting there for a while, and his 70th birthday is coming up, and I wanted to at least get it running for his birthday. Bit of a surprise. Well, it's not going to be a surprise, but...
Yeah. So this is Aldo we're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how's this, right? And this is for all you kiddies out there. His son bought him, wait for it, a Harley trike.
Oh, really?
Probably about 50 grand's worth.
Jesus.
That's not a bad kid.
That's a great kid.
Far out.
So, my kids, you've got something to aspire to.
Yeah, mine too as well. And my kids, if you're watching, I hope you're listening. Dad's given up Targa West and criticism of over here for trophy presentation for you boys. Anyway. All right, guys. Yep.
Did you have to make the trophies?
I've organised all the trophies as well.
Yeah. And you have to be there to hand them out.
I don't have to be there to hand it out, but it's appropriate that I'm there for my kids' trophies. Yeah.
You already know who's getting them, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I know, not the fairest. The votes aren't in. There's still 2 more weeks of playing. So the votes aren't in yet. So.
Do they do it like the Brownlow?
No. It's just best and fairest, runner-up, coach's award.
And this match we had
2 votes.
No, it's all pretty straightforward. So anyway, yes, kids.
Why do they make that so boring?
The Brownlow, I've always wondered that myself. It is the most boring TV you can think of.
Trade week for the AFL.
I disagree. I like Trade Week.
Yeah, I kind of.
I like Trade Week.
I'm not going to say I like it, but it's not as boring as the Brownlow.
No, Trade Week's exciting.
The Brownlow, you know what the Brownlow does? I feel it reminds us all how dumb the game is.
Yeah, I don't. They really need to tweak that. The Brownlow needs to be tweaked. But Trade Week, you should watch it, Todd. It's exciting.
That's probably I have watched it. No,
you're thinking of the draft.
No, I'm thinking of Trade Week.
Trade Week's exciting.
No. Anyway, maybe I don't like AFL that much, so not anymore anyway. I used to follow AFL, but not anymore.
I just can't believe how much the governments of this country have, and mate, I'm right behind you, Mark, right? Have bent the rules for the AFL. McGowan's the only one that's gone, nah.
Yeah, and then I agree with him 100%.
And the horse racing, that's another one.
Yeah, but that's
so what do they do with the Melbourne Cup?
I'm telling you, we said this at the last podcast.
Yeah, we did.
It's happening. I don't care what anyone says.
No, mate, we need to get the boys from the shed. We need to have a roundhouse discussion about this.
I'm actually thinking we should try. I'll reach out to the boys and to Jimmy. Like, if we can tee it up. I don't know how we're going to do it because we can't all fit in the room, but maybe they come here instead and we do a special. We can record here and then they can do it on the Wednesday night. What about the lead up to Bathurst?
Can do, yeah.
Melbourne Cup.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about horse racing. That's the problem.
We should do it live. We should do a live Melbourne Cup. What do you need to know about horse racing? Mate, it's like the Olympics, right? You just get the paper on the day. It tells you everything you need to know.
I know a little bit, but
they even print it the day before so you can do the tipping.
So you don't like the Bathurst idea? We catch up with
I like either idea, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think we might need to do it here.
I'm about to say the expert for Melbourne Cup is my late father. He was the gun. Every year, pick the winner. Every year.
Yeah, but how do you reckon he'd feel about it?
What? Melbourne
if
Cup?
they're going to go ahead with it?
I don't know.
I reckon he'd be pissed. He would have been pissed.
He would have been more upset they cancelled Anzac Day.
That's what I mean. They would have said, "You've cancelled Anzac Day,
yeah,
and you're going to go ahead with the Melbourne Cup."
Yeah, exactly. He
would have been. Oh yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
All right, guys, we'll wrap this one up.
On that bombshell.
On that bombshell. We'll catch you in the next, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us. See you, everyone.
Cheers.
Talk
Take
and
care.
Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.